I never had an advocate growing up, so I had to become one for myself. And that was one of the tricks that I apparently learned subconsciously when I was a kid. Dr. Dodd, who was on the podcast this week, really explained to me that's what occurred. So I became my own advocate. Even though I was doing incorrectly, it was up against a wall. Like, either way, I became an advocate for myself, and I got burnt on it because of my undiagnosed ADHD. So I had a great chat again with Dr. Bill Dodson about how that changes everything. Okay. So what we talked about this week is based on that. When he was during his practice, he was always wanting to talk to the people who had ADHD, but never came to him for help. Because remember, ADHD is diagnosed when shit hits the fan or when life isn't going well. That's when it's diagnosed. So there's a lot of people out there who have ADHD. Maybe they know it, but they're doing well. And he always wondered why. So he went and discovered why. And that's what we really talked about in the conversation. So if you haven't listened to it, I'd highly recommend you go back because it's really good. But the three things that I got out of the conversation is the advocate you didn't have and becoming your own is up to you. Okay. You're not lazy. You're just blocked. Another key term that he used that got me thinking. And the power of complementary partnerships, be it in personal, romantic lives, or even business. And this is three key takeaways I got from it. So let's start with the advocate. The advocate you didn't have and becoming your own. Like I told you earlier, that's what happened to me. But for my advocate of myself, I became a fighter. So no matter what, and I'm not talking about physical fight, I'm just talking about your natural responses. Either you fight, flee, fawn, or freeze. I just fought. So my advocacy of myself was always fighting. And it got tiring after 40 some years. So for me, not having that support, but to say, yes, you are different, but we have faith in you is very key and very demoralizing, especially as a child, which affects your self-worth, your motivation, how you view your differences. You know, growing up with ADHD, either be it diagnosed or undiagnosed. Because there's three things that he said that people with ADHD that didn't need his help. One is they had someone that supported them. That was an advocate, a cheerleader, even though he hates the term cheerleader, but just saying, you know what, something's going on and I have faith in you, but we're going to figure this out together. Okay. Well, I guess I've merged one and two. And then the other one has to do with the fact is we know you can do this. We don't know what's going on right now, but we know you've got the power and you have the ability to do it. So those three things really helped that kid or that person to succeed without falling in the traps of the traditional societal norm traps of ADHD, where you need to get, things aren't going well. You need to get that support and help. So it affects your motivation, your self-worth. Does any of this resonate with you? Because it's sure, I know it, I've lived it, but still hits me hard when I'm saying this. And then for me, really, the absence of a supportive voice was really hard on me. But Dr. Dodson says just because you don't have a supportive voice doesn't mean you're doomed. It just means you need to take the opportunity and the responsibility to become your own advocate. As an adult, that means reparenting yourself and then building the support network you deserve. So as an adult, as an ADHD entrepreneurial adult, we have that ability now. You didn't have it as a kid. It's just the way it is. Well, we get to reparent ourselves, and I'm doing that with my therapist. I'm doing that with the way I'm thinking differently with my exiles, with the internal family systems concept. And then now I am starting to build a support network that I deserve. And it's the people that reciprocate and actually approve and value my involvement in their lives. So I'm reducing the amount of people pleasing I can do in a network, because I got the people pleasing network, which I'm trying to push away. And I'm trying to find the support network that I deserve. And the key word, I deserve. Another key word, a support network you deserve. You deserve it. Get that in your head. You deserve it. Don't talk yourself out of it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Say it with me. You deserve it. Well, actually, if you're saying it, you'll say, I deserve it. Okay, say it with me. I deserve it. The other takeaway I got from this was the statement, you're not lazy, you're blocked. Okay? I knew I wasn't lazy, even though I was accused of being lazy because I really found good shortcuts to do things quicker, or it's the stuff I didn't really care about, I just did not do. And I was accused of being lazy for that. All right. Why? Well, my brain operates differently. It's wired differently. If it's not challenging, interesting, novel, urgent, or passion related, it's very hard for me to focus. I got to focus, which takes a lot of mental energy. But at the same time, back then, no one knew what to look for. No one understood. Even I didn't understand it. But once I understood that the ADHD created invisible barriers, and that's the key, it's invisible. No one sees it because it's all in our head. It's all in our mannerisms. It's all that we do. I stopped beating myself up for it. It's, yes, ADHD kind of caused it, but it's not me, André, that caused it. It's not me who sucks or lazy. So I'm easier. I'm giving myself compassion, which is weird because I was always the worst critic. Like I always said, no matter what you say to me, it won't be worse than what I say. But now I've got other people telling me worse things because I'm a lot more compassionate with myself, excuse me, and I stopped beating myself up. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I made a social faux pas, but what? Okay, move on. I apologize. You apologize. Are we over it? Let's go. Okay. So now what I really do now is I focus on identifying what's actually in my way. So working with my brain instead of against it. All right. The importance of naming what's getting in the way is also critical. Like I've been saying a long time, vocabulary is key. Having the right word to explain something gives you clear power. And there's another word that's just escaped my mind, but clarity and power. Okay. And that's part of the whole validation process, which is the beginning of real change. Because now that we know, now that we made the subconscious conscious, we can work on things. We can improve ourselves. We can work with our brains. We can manage. We can systematize. We can create structures to work with our brains so we can accept that we're not broken. There are visible barriers, which is usually created by everyone else, but you can stop blaming yourself and start finding the right tools to grow and be successful because we deserve the success as well, not just everyone else. So another reason and a recommendation from Dr. Dotson, whether, the reason a lot of people with ADHD didn't come to help him is because they had complementary partnerships. And like I've said to a lot of people, like Richard Branson, yes, he's ADHD. He's very successful. There's a lot of ADHD entrepreneurs that are successful, and there's a lot that did not. The key thing I noticed and tell people is the people around him were very complimentary and helped them succeed. I kept finding the wrong ones. That's just the way it is. He ended up finding the right people. So if you surround yourself with the right people who are complementary to your abilities, you gain success on that because I did that with quite a few business partners. I thought they were complementary, but they were not. They were unhealthy. And for me, the big insight was I always liked the getting of a project or a job and the solving of the problem and solution, but I really did not enjoy executing the final product or the final details. That wasn't easy for me. So with the engineering company, that's why I hired drafters. That's why I hired other engineers. They like to do the numbers. They like to do the menial, tedious tasks of numbers and drawings. I get the job. I solve the solution. I provide them the solution. They finish the details. And that's complementary. So that success as an ADHD entrepreneur isn't about doing everything yourself, even though that's what we're taught. And that's what we kind of ended up doing because everyone told us we kept doing things wrong. So screw it. We're just going to do it ourselves. Can't rely on anyone because they keep telling us we're lazy, we're dumb, we're stupid. So screw it. We're just going to do it ourselves. We get in that habit. Now it's time to get out of that habit. So we can now collaborate intentionally with people who complement our gaps. That's why it's key. Let's work on our strengths and make them stronger. And everything that's our weakness, have someone else do it. Hire someone, pay a consultant to do that. I just did that today. I'm hiring a consultant to take care of a bunch of marketing stuff. I can figure it out. I can't. I just don't want to. I want to spend my time developing content for you guys and coming up with new solutions for new clients and getting bigger and better clients instead of worrying marketing content or figuring out setting up the CRM, a weakness. So I'm getting someone else to do it. What are your thoughts on this? Because I think these are three powerful insights. The conversation with Dr. Dotson is very powerful. You becoming your own advocate is a responsibility of yours, and you need to do it. And the only way we can do that is by looking inside, stick to our strengths, get people around us that support our weaknesses or the stuff that we just don't want to do. And as well as you're not lazy, you're blocked because of these invisible barriers created by everyone else. So let me know what you think about these 3 insights. Email me at andrethimpulsivethinker.com. Love to hear from you and what you thought about this. And thanks again for learning with me. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.